Good morning, and welcome to Mornings with Jesus. I'm Dana, and today's verse will be John chapter 11, verse 40. Our story will be by Heidi Gruel. Then Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" John chapter 11, verse 40. "You have cancer," the woman said. My fingers tightened on the receiver as the receptionist spoke. Details spilled like water from a dropper in a glass. The type, stage, and post-surgery possibilities. Depending on the tumor size, I could lose a breast and require reconstructive surgery. I concentrated on keeping my voice even as I held back the tears, at least until I hung up. The only words that came to my mind were, "Why me, Jesus? Jesus, why now?" The weeks that followed the diagnosis were lost in a fog. Time alternatively flew and dragged as I waited to endure my procedure. My operation was a success, but ensuing radiation treatments left me confused, as if I was watching somebody else's life through a pair of binoculars. I clung to Jesus, his abiding love in my private sanctuary. My faith strengthened even as my body weakened. Over several months, my self-confidence grew and my health returned. Bit by bit, clarity came alive, awakening a hunger for new experiences, new wisdom and gratefulness. Little things no longer bothered me. I became more aware of the blessings surrounding me. I learned that, like Lazarus, I wasn't alone. Friends and family and Jesus had cried and prayed for me and with me. And during that battle, I realized the true value of life that I had been taking for granted. I didn't have to die to rise again. Our Lord restored me, my body and soul. At last, I have the answer to the questions, why? As you all know, I've had cancer before. I didn't have breast cancer, but this really touched my heart. I remember coming out of the GYN's office, and I remember going in there waiting for my appointment and seeing all the new mothers and their babies having 6-week checkups and everything. And those who don't know me, I love children, and I was really hoping and praying that I could have another child, even with my age, with my current husband, Mark. I think he would have been an excellent father, and I would have loved to have that experience, because I was always a single mom. I remember going back to her office and her telling me that I had ovarian cancer, and that, my tumor was, about the size of a softball inside and outside of my uterus, and, we would have to have a radical hysterectomy, and, what all that meant, and the changes in my body, and, they would have to take all of the glands around it to make sure. To be really honest, I listened, but I knew my husband was there, and I knew that he would listen to everything in the news, because I pretty much just kind of was off in my little bit of a world. I think it was my why me and why now, and God, what did I do to deserve this? And as I have said before, I have come to terms. I had my operation. I'm cancer-free now, thank God. But I did have a really coming to Jesus during that time. I leaned on him. I, pushed into him. I learned more about him because I kind of knew about Jesus. I was grown up Catholic. I thought that by saying all the prayers, it all would have worked. But I learned a deeper meaning with that. And now I really know that, I think that God used that to bring me back to him. I've said before earlier in this series that, it was my awakening. The actual day that I found out that, I had cancer, I had came home and was just numb. And it was the first day that Brad at Big Family Homestead had started their praise and devotional group. And I called into him and I asked for prayer because I was scared. And he prayed for me online, and that was the first time I had ever had that happen to me. And at that moment, something changed in me. And I believe that, it kind of woke up in a spiritual awakening for me. And I'm sure we all have stories that, brought us to Jesus. And I think sometimes he uses these things to bring us back. But I know I'm so grateful now for that, because that is what brought me back to here and brought me back to him and got me seeking more. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. So our faith step today is every morning before rising, name one troubling problem and give it to Jesus. Consider it dead to you and don't revisit it. Replace it by naming a blessing that you just currently got. So that kind of really helps us focus on the good and give over all the things that are not good. Give them to Jesus. And I just want to thank you and praise you for your grace and your mercy. I know I'm not perfect. I know that I make mistakes. I hope you forgive them. And I hope to see you here again tomorrow. And I hope you all have a blessed day today. And I hope that you will think about the faith step of, giving it over to Jesus and not revisiting it. And just replace it with the blessing that he has given you. Thank you guys. Bye.